Can you believe Y2K was 25 years ago? Charlie Stein in that SportsCenter commercial just bashing TVs in the control room. No, absolutely not. For the oldest of BYU students, they may have barely been born. Most haven't been born. And here we are in 2025. So today we are going to do an all-quarter-century BYU Football Fantasy Draft. Dave versus me. Let's go. We will draft one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, one tight end, a flex, a kicker, a team defense for players that played at BYU 2000 season to now. Once we draft our players, we'll post them on social media. You can decide whose team is better. So here we go. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
It's going to be fun.
There's a lot to choose from.
This is great July content as we wait for bowl camp.
That's exactly what this is.
So let's start. Dave, you pick first. We'll do snake draft format. We will go by certain positions in a row. That makes it a little easier on our staff, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's start with quarterback.
Well, let's put all our cards on the table. Sophie, could you just I just want
we got something special
you to
here.
Know what you're up against.
You brought a trophy, and
Sophie,
look at that.
Thank you. This right
here. Is this your Little League something?
This is the McCann Family Fantasy Football Championship
Very nice.
Trophy.
Very nice.
And if you notice, there at the bottom.
Dave.
Yeah.
You won in 2017
and
2024.
Defending champ.
So basically every 7 years.
Yeah, so that's what we pass around.
Chairman of the Victory Committee.
Yeah,
Very nice.
That's what I am.
Very
Chairman
nice.
Of the Victory Committee.
Mild heft.
So I just want you to, I just want you to know before things get crazy.
Nice.
Thanks,
Sophie.
That's
what's up.
That's how we're.
That's what's up for grabs.
No, you don't get that. I'm just showing you what you're up against.
I couldn't borrow that for a day. Guard Young let me take a silver medal around for an afternoon.
Guard Young is a better man than me. No, that goes back to the house under security. I just barely brought it out just to show this.
Pretty shiny.
All right, so quarterback. So when you think of the top quarterbacks of the last 25 years and you look at the stats, you go, okay, there's Max and there's John, and those numbers are crazy. But in fantasy football, rushing touchdowns are more valuable than passing touchdowns. So if you can find a guy who can do both, you should go get him. And I think you know where we're going.
That was going to be my first pick.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Taysom Hill.
It's going to be my fantasy quarterback for our team. What did Taysom Hill do? Basically anything he wanted, especially when he was playing Texas. But he had 43 passing touchdowns, 32 rushing touchdowns, and 9,754 yards of total offense. He's a fantasy football juggernaut, even going up against guys who threw for 11,000 yards and 90-plus touchdowns. I'm going with a guy who can score on the ground and through the air. Taysom Hill's my quarterback.
That would have been my first pick, too. My favorite stat about Taysom is the following. He never lost a game by 3 scores. It was always 2 scores or less. He was in the game. Yeah. He gave BYU a chance. I never felt like BYU was totally out of a game when Taysom Hill was quarterback. I love that pick, and I can't stand you for it. John Beck or Max Hall would be the next pick. Either one. I'm going with John. Sorry, Max. He can make all the throws. Obviously, super clutch with Beck to Harleen. That senior year was real special for John. Mountain West Conference Offensive Player of the Year, as James Bates said soon after in this call. Finds his guy, touchdown. What a player. What a guy. Brought BYU back after 3 losing seasons. They figure it out in 05-06. That's a really special team, and they start to go on this run. Max Hall after that. I very easily could have picked Max here, too.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll go with John Beck.
John's a gamer. Look at those numbers. Max not too far behind with 11,000 passing yards and 94 touchdowns. But Beck was 79. He was mobile. He could skip around. And
when his ankles weren't sprained, he had some mobility.
Okay, so the quarterbacks are in.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
I feel great about it. I mean, when there's only 2 of us, we're going to be loaded here.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's not like, oh, man, I got the 5th guy.
That's why you just find a little edge.
Yep.
What's going to put it over the top?
Yep.
So now let's move to running back, a very, very important position in fantasy football.
Okay, BYU in this last quarter century, these are some of the greatest. I mean, if you list the top 10, you probably have 6 or 7 of the top 10.
Right.
It's been a great quarter century for running backs. There is one man who I believe is still the GOAT. He's the only man to win the national award for this. A white running back from BYU won the Doak Walker Award. Luke Staley is my pick because in 2001, he goes for 8 yards per carry, Dave. 8! He wins the Doak. He and Brandon Doman and Reno Mahe are one of the best trios in BYU history. If Luke does not break his leg against Mississippi State, do they beat Hawaii? Do they continue that run.
Probably would have went undefeated, let's be honest.
Right? They weren't going to get to the Fiesta Bowl, but do they win the Liberty Bowl and they finish undefeated and have this amazing year? That season was incredible. And you think about that in the modern context, it's just unbelievable what he did. Led the nation in scoring yards per carry. A BYU running back.
Yeah, and it was tough. It was a double whammy. Breaks his ankle. Remember, the Mississippi game was pushed back to the end of the season because of 9/11. Yeah. Breaks his ankle. They come back home. They find out he's out for the year, and the BCS releases them, despite them being 12-0. And it's like a double
Hawaii
punch
game is a cluster.
So
they give up the most points they've ever given up in a game.
In 2025, though, we're in the Big 12 and with a shot at the playoffs. So things have changed. All right, my pick for running back is Harvey Unga. And there's two reasons why I love Harvey. One, he runs with power and he gets yards and he gets rushing touchdowns. 36 of them, in fact. Ran for 3,455 yards. That was the most for a long time at BYU. But here's the other fact I was looking at for Harvey. He caught 9 touchdown passes and had over 1,000 receiving yards. So here's another guy that can score in a variety of ways. Which you love in fantasy football. Harvey can catch and run. You can give him the ball at the goal line. You're not keeping him out. So I've got Harvey Unga as my starting running back for the McCann fantasy football team. Look at those numbers.
Love that pick. Harvey's an all-timer. Harvey's a great dude, too. Okay,
another running back.
This next pick, oh, man, I got several great options here. And the guy that I'm going to go with is the single-season rushing record holder at BYU. Or, sorry, Dave, you go again. Good thing I didn't pick because
it's my pick?
It's Dave's pick. We're going Snake.
Oh, so
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, okay. Well, I had a feeling you were going to go with Tyler on that.
Well, I said the single season. So
yeah, so I'm going to go with Jamal Williams.
Nice.
I'm not going to trump
Wait, no, you can take it. It's your pick.
No, I like Jamal because he's got 35 rushing touchdowns, 30,901 yards rushing. That's number one, last I checked. And he also could catch the ball, 557 receiving yards, but just the one touchdown through the air. So Jamal Williams, if I have to, I can go to the Lions and borrow some of his touchdowns from a couple of years ago.
17, yeah.
But here's a guy you want in the locker room, you want on your team.
Yes.
Jamal Williams is my pick for my second running back.
Oh, Jamal's so good. I mean, there's no going wrong here with these running backs. I'll go with Tyler Algier. What he did in 2021, the single-season record, 1601. They played 7 Power 5 teams. It wasn't like it was an easy schedule. He goes 1601 yards per carry for a career. He's 6.4, Dave, which is just a stupid number. Former linebacker. Remember, he started as a linebacker. Early in his career, he's a walk-on. He's working night shifts at Walmart in Orem. He's on the Falcons now.
Great story.
Making that NFL money. So
occasionally he makes great defensive plays.
Right?
Which should be able to get you some extra points.
That play has value too. That's a great point. Tyler Algier is my running back pick.
All right, so Staley, Unga, Williams, and Algier. No-brainers, but hey, they're not all on the same team today. They're on our respective battles. So I like how things are coming together.
I think our team's going to be very similar in how awesome they are. There's a lot of great players. Okay, snake draft. I go again.
You got the receiver.
Wide receiver. I have said that I believe this guy is still the GOAT. Despite him being passed in receptions, reception yards, touchdowns, but he did all his stuff in 3 years. That is Austin Collie, a member of our BYUtv staff. Love Austin. He is the GOAT. One-handers, notably, stiff arms, Colorado State, Utah State stick out. He was battling Michael Crabtree in 2008 as best receiver in the country, and he is the GOAT at wide receiver. I take Austin Collie with my first pick.
Love
wide receiver.
Austin Collie.
Loved watching him play. 04, he's a freshman. He has an impact. He comes back in 07 and 08, and he's making touchdown after touchdown. Remember that Tulsa game, albeit in a loss, where he had like 250 all-purpose yards with kickoff returns? I love that play, that stiff arm. I love this one, too. Wheels around, get off me, touchdown.
You'll see Austin all season long on game day. He often reminds us how good he is still.
He deserves it.
And the video backs it up, so that's an awesome pick. For my first pick at receiver, I'm going to go, again, it's about touchdowns in fantasy football, so I'm going to go to the guy who has the most, and that's Cody Hoffman. Largely because of how good he was at the flag football game earlier in the spring. He still got it. Still got it. But Cody Hoffman is my #1 pick at receiver. 33 touchdowns. A lot of those Blaine and I called back when we had more of the games. And, man, he was so much fun to watch. 2,612 receiving yards. and he could make the most difficult catches look super easy, at least super easy for him. Cody Hoffman is going to suit up for Team McCann. How about those numbers right there?
50 games played. I mean, durable, gave you a ton of production. And I'm happy, you know, that you got Hoffman because he is a baller.
Okay, now look, so I've got the next pick too at receiver, and this is where things can get tricky because you've got the obvious ones, and then you get down into the weeds and you go, well, what about this and what about that?
There's an obvious one here.
I'm going to go with Puka Nacua.
You should.
And Puka also scored on the ground and through the air. He had 19 career touchdowns. I think 5 or 6 of them were runs. We didn't see a lot of him. You know, he was banged up, but when we did see him, he was phenomenal. And Puka Nacua is going to line up for Team McCann. 1,700 receiving yards at both BYU and Washington combined, and he was a human highlight reel. And the Rams are finding out on 3rd down and 9. You just find out where Puka is. He gets you a first down.
And they didn't want to pay Cooper Kupp because they have Puka.
Yeah.
He's that big of a deal for the Rams now. And he has become a better receiver in the NFL than he was in college. That's incredible. Steve Young did that as well. Steve was a very good player, number 2 in the Heisman at BYU. Ends up winning the Super Bowl, 2-time MVP with the Niners. Okay, that's a good haul for you of Cody and Puka. My 4th one is a guy that barely qualifies. He played 97 to 2000. So I get him because of his senior year. It's Margin Hooks.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Margin Hooks qualifies. 5th in receiving yards in BYU history. Crazy short-handed. That 80-yard touchdown against Utah sticks out. Super consistent. Led the Mountain West in 1999 as a junior. He is a guy that is coaching a lot of future Cougs, too, because he's a wide receivers coach. He's doing great work at Sky's the Limit on Twitter. Margin Hooks is my 2nd wide receiver pick.
Love that pick, and a phenomenal player. And, you know, on the short list of who was just left out, they could show up in the flex. But Dax Milne would have been another one where you're going, hey, in 1 year he showed us that he's an NFL guy and was awesome.
Yep.
All right, let's move to tight end, and I've got that pick. And I'm going to go against the grain here because usually you just look at who's got the most touchdowns. But you can't not pick Dennis Pitta. Sorry, Dennis over there.
I wanted Dennis.
I got plenty of time for you over here.
When his helmet stayed on, he was spectacular.
Dennis Pitta with 21 touchdowns, 2,901 receiving yards. He was a gamer. He was a big play guy. And there were great tight ends at BYU. In fact, the list is pretty long, but I think Dennis, for this team that I'm putting together, Dennis fits what we're looking for.
I'm going to appeal to the committee right now, live on the air. I believe this should be my pick. Okay, this is actually my pick, and I picked Dennis Pitta. Sorry, Dave.
Well, I thought it was your pick,
I know.
But then I was told it was my pick.
Well, I like Dennis so much, I'm going to appeal, and I now make this my pick.
So Dennis has now moved over to Jarom.
Everyone thinks I can't stand Dennis. I love Dennis.
You've got time for Dennis over there.
I've got time for Dennis. All the things you said are right. I love Dennis. The NCAA career leader in receptions, receiving yards by a tight end. I mean, not just BYU stuff, what he did in the NCAA. So I'll happily take Dennis.
So on a technicality, Dennis has moved over.
Yes.
Moved over.
You now get 2 picks.
And I'm going to go with Isaac Rex.
Nice.
I'm going to go back to my, you know, when there was Johnny Harleen and all that stuff. But Isaac Rex has 24 touchdowns. And in fantasy football, you want a guy who can get in the end zone. And he's got the school record. When healthy, he was a beast. 1,385 receiving yards. Again, those 24 touchdowns. So I'm not drafting Isaac Rex, who broke his ankle against USC.
You're drafting 2020
I'm
Isaac
drafting
Rex?
Isaac that, when healthy, was the best tight end in the country, and finishing again with a school record 24. That's 3 more than Dennis. Sorry, Dennis, but Isaac is moving over to my side of the roster.
If only Austin would have shared some of those receiving touchdowns with Dennis a little bit.
Yeah.
So your pick again.
Okay,
this on the flex. So it can be running back or tight end or receiver.
So as I scanned the last 25 years, I thought to myself, who's going to get me more touchdowns? Lopini Katoa is going to get me more touchdowns. He had 27.
Wow, he did have a lot of touchdowns.
27 touchdowns.
Lopini.
And I had to check the numbers. I checked them twice.
Lopini Katoa,
And I started looking around, and I thought, you know what? He made one of the greatest catches in school history in the Boca Raton Bowl. But the 27 at the top. When you have a flex in a fantasy, you go, well, who can get me in the end zone? Well, Lopini Katoa can get you in the end zone. He did it 27 times. So Lopini is my flex pick. That surprise you?
It does surprise me. He's not one of the kind of bigger names among these positions, but what he did in terms of versatility, here's the catch against UCF. I mean, and that's in a scattered stadium. I was in there, and it was like, oh, I mean, everyone, even the UCF fans were like, whoa, that was crazy. That's a great pick. I like that because he can do whatever you need.
Yeah.
He can do whatever you need.
I'm curious to see what you're coming up
Okay,
with.
I've got options here, and there's 3 guys I'm really thinking about. But the guy that I'm going to go with is Johnny Harleen. I'm going to go with Johnny Harleen. If I need a clutch play in the red zone, if I need a touchdown, he's a touchdown machine. If I need it against the rival Utah. In 06, 3 touchdowns. And he's being guarded by Eric Weddle, who had an unbelievable NFL career. Touchdown after touchdown for Johnny Harleen. Also, he can shred on guitar. That's something he brings to the locker room,
That's
Dave.
true. That's
of
Friday
course,
night.
back to Harleen, my flex pick.
He's got a band.
Is
They can
Johnny
take care of Friday
Harleen,
night.
which is awesome. And of course, look at that picture. Oh, the one-hander.
Yeah,
Spectacular.
Those are great numbers for Harleen. Nice pick.
Okay, we go to kicker.
All right, and I believe you're up. Am I up or you're? I believe you're up.
You go 2 in a row, so I'm up.
Okay.
This guy, maybe there's recency bias, but what we saw this last year was unbelievable in terms of clutch in massive games against SMU and notably against Utah. I go with the mustached man. Will Farron is my pick for kicker. There were others that totally could have gone with. But when you beat Utah on a 44-yarder, which is also your jersey number, and you beat SMU, it goes to the playoffs, you are the best kicker of the last 40
He made his last 16 kicks of the year.
That's pretty good. Will Farron, baby. Also, his wife is a elementary school teacher at the elementary school that my son goes to.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan of this family.
So I think that
Mrs. Farron.
you have to factor in everything.
She might have been Tate's first grade teacher. She switched to 5th grade. I'm super bummed.
He may be the best kicker that ever kicked at BYU. Eager to see what Will does this season. I'm going to go with the greatest kicker ever to kick at BYU. I'm going to go with Owen Pochman. He kicked 64 field goals.
Owen Pochman. I thought you were going to say Matt Payne.
64. Now, if I wanted the meanest kicker, I would go with Matt Payne because he could lay the hit. But Owen Pochman hit 64 field goals. So I talk about automatic.
How about
That's our guy right
lack
there.
of red zone execution for those teams? Is that what you just told me?
You just factor in, can the guy
Why is
make
this
kicks?
picture in black and white if it was in the late 90s or 2000s?
Well, because we went.
What is it, from 1948?
He just got in the 2000 group. But look at that, 66 field goals. Percentage is good. He had distance as long as 56. And how about those kicking points? Okay, that's the kind of guy you want on your fantasy team. So I've got Owen Pochman. Ready for defense?
I am ready.
Defense is challenging, right? Defense can really help your team or it can really kill your team.
Yep.
And so I'm going to go with the obvious choice here, which is last year's defense.
Okay.
If you were going first, I was going old school. But I'm going to go last year because of what they did. 22 interceptions, tied Texas for the most in the country. They allowed just over 19 points a game. Team went 11-2. It wasn't their fault that they didn't win more. They were fantastic in the bowl game against the Heisman Trophy winner and Dion, who was on the sideline. This group right here, the 2024 defense, against the Big 12, was about as good as we've ever seen. And so I'm signing them up.
It's a great one. It's the second best choice you could have made. The best choice for me is a team that featured 7 future NFL players and 1 Major League Baseball player.
Are you going 2003?
2012.
2012
is my pick. Daniel Sorensen,
Okay.
Ziggy, Kyle Van Noy, Bronson Kafusi, Spencer Hadley, Alani Fua, Wani Unga, and oh, by the way, Jacob Hanneman, who ends up playing in the majors,
Right.
is on that team as well. He didn't play a ton. But 2012's defense.
I think he was on the Cubs.
Was it? Yeah, Cubs, and he debuted with the Mariners. So both our teams, which is kind of awesome. They were really good. It was a younger group.
Yeah.
Offensively, frankly, I've thought about this season, Dave. Is it 2012-ish? There were more weapons probably on this offensive group for BYU going into 25. But can the defense help that quarterback, whoever it is, to win enough games? They went 8-5, but they showed us a lot.
Yeah.
And eventually, when the dust settled, you look at that group and you go, oh my gosh, look at all those guys. So let's take a look at our team.
If we didn't do those two, I was going 2003.
There were some great ones there too. Aaron Francisco, Brady Papinga, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. David Nixon, he tipped me off.
Of course, David would say that. David's going to be mad I didn't mention him first.
All right, let's look at these teams.
Okay, so my team, John Beck finds this guy, Luke Staley, Tyler Algier, running backs, Austin Collie, Margin Hooks, a wide receiver. Dennis Pitta, tight end. My flex was Johnny Harleen, Will Farron, and then the 2012 defense. I feel great about this squad.
You should feel good. That's an awesome team. That'll win a lot of games. Here's what I've got, and I feel really good about this team in a fantasy football setting. Taysom Hill can score on the ground through the air. Harvey Unga can run and catch. Jamal Williams runs and runs and runs. Hoffman has the most touchdowns in school history. Puka's a lightning rod. Isaac Rex has the most touchdowns for a tight end in school history. Lapini Katoa has 27 touchdowns. I know when Pottsman kicked 64 field goals. I like this group.
That's awesome. This is fun. We need to do this in the future and have a few more guys as well.
Yeah, make it a little challenge.
Because then it's a little more not as
let's say listers.
The fourth or fifth guy, you know, maybe he's not as good as the first guy. But our poll question of the day is this: who has the better all-quarter century BYU football fantasy team, myself or Dave? You get to decide. We'll weigh in with those poll results later in the show and throughout the day. You can weigh in on X, Facebook, and Instagram.
We hope as you watched that you thought to yourself, no, here's who I would have done.
Yep.
Or those picks are
genius. That was a terrible pick.
Those guys have their hand on the pulse of things. All right.